Hi ladies and gentlemen, welcome to just how to play healer. So I've seen several parties or groups with low level healers in like full unstable or some other really stupid set. So this is to show even experienced healers, if they are making a mistake or doing something wrong, this might help. If you want to play healer and you don't know what to do, you don't know the stuff because the progression's now that clear, this should help you focus on something. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Most of the stuff's gonna be in this chest, at least what I use. So just to start, healer class is most dependent on your health. Your max health increases during a zombie sword and I believe a few of the other abilities as well. So the higher your max health is, the better you will do as healer. For a quick overview, healer is just like any other class. It's got levels and certain things increase as you get to a higher level. But let's start with the passives. Remember, all of these will double if you're the only healer, so try to be the only healer. If you aren't, then it's going to be pretty difficult for you. But your healing abilities heal the target for an extra 65% additional health. That's big. It increases by 1% per level. I'm level 15, so it starts at plus 50%. And then the healing aura acts sort of like a mana flux or radiant, and it slowly increases as you level up. And then revive, the little fairy guy that pops up next to your pet, will randomly heal you or revive your dead teammates. If too many people die though, you'll have to wait the 85 seconds between reses, so be mindful of that. And then these two abilities, the healing circle is similar to healing aura and radiant or mana flux, where you place it and it just, everybody inside the circle is healed slightly, 2% of their health, not yours, so your max health does not affect it in this case. But the ability, when used with the adaptive blade, which I will show in a second, it's like you'll have the adaptive blade, you right click, and it uses the healing circle ability. It shoots out a snowball, which can damage enemies and cause lurkers or skeletors to shoot out their, whatever it's called, their projectile. So that's a good strategy for healer. You can also use a bow, but this is faster because it's a snowball. And then Wish heals your whole group to full health, and it gives them 20% of their health as absorption, which is quite powerful. I suggest saving this for either boss fights or like Lost Adventures, just to make sure people don't die. But also watch the side thing here. If somebody is in the red or low yellow, you should probably use it, especially if more than one person is at that point. And then the ghost abilities. The healing potion, 10 block radius, 10% of their max health, plus 100 health. I believe that is increased. Plus 1 healing circle duration. Plus 2 ghost healing potion health restored. It's the third modifier for healer 15. I'd assume it's on other levels, but you can check that for yourself. Ghost ability revive. You can actually revive yourself after 50 seconds. And I believe that cooldown does become shorter as you level up. But that is a really good ability. So as long as one other person is alive and they can stay alive until you come back, you should be able to survive. And now that we're past the abilities, basic leveling up, let's go to the items. So, in here, this is quite similar to my dungeon preparation guide, except now we actually have dungeon items, and also this is focused more on healer. So to start, I suggest having either the Mender Helm at as high as star as you can get, or like Crystallized Heart, Zombie Heart even works, like Revived Heart, whatever you can get your hands on. And then Mana Flux, definitely, not Radiant. Radiant works to an extent, but as healer you're going to need at least Mana Flux. Because during boss fights, mages can't place it because they need all of their mana. And they get so much that it would be a huge hit to the whole team if they were to place one. Tank usually doesn't have one. Same with Berserker. Archer probably not if you have an Archer. But so it falls to healer to place their power orb. So getting the 2% and then increasing it by another 50, 60, however much percent is a big thing during boss fights. Then of course you'll need your dungeon orb, which you will get at the start of every dungeon, so don't worry about that. Adaptive blade, you can barely see it, but it is currently the best sword for dungeons that I know of, especially for healer. But if you get it to 5 stars, much more powerful than any of the late game swords now, except for maybe Gilded Midas. But I maxed this out. It's pretty good. I use this. You can kind of see it in the yellow text near the bottom. It says right click to use your class ability. So I would have it here, right click, and it would shoot out the, see, I can only use a dungeon. It would shoot out the snowball. And I've gotten fairly good at aiming it at enemies so that I can damage them. It can actually do decent damage. It can one-tap some enemies. But the Ornate Zombie Sword is quite a good healing weapon. It's almost necessary as healer. Zombie Sword works, but just like Mana Flux, definitely get the upgraded version. So the Ornate Zombie Sword costs a lot of mana, and as healer you're not going to have a ton, unless you get a bunch of wise stuff, which is not suggested. So you have your 5 charges. I think they should give healer like 1 or 2 more charges on this, just because it's pretty much the only way we can survive. But so you right click, instant heals you and everybody nearby. You 4, this is where health comes in, 144 plus 5% of your max health. And heal players within 7 blocks for about 50 health, which is increased by 65% for me. But putting Alt Wise on this really helps conserve mana because it's so expensive. I've gotten to 3. You don't need like 5 or anything. Even 1 works. I started with 1 and slowly built up to 3. So just however much you can get fairly easily will definitely help. Because this starts at 70. I currently have it at 49. But yeah. And Wand of Mending or Restoration. Wand of Healing works because there's not much of a difference. It also helps conserve mana a bit more. But this is good if you become a tank, because healer usually either acts as the full tank if there is not one, or is more of a cyto tank with all their healing abilities. They can usually regain their health quite fast. So this helps you regen a lot faster. It's 80 mana. Sadly, you cannot put Ult Wise on it. I would have already if I could. And then this, I suggest you start grinding for this set first. So I'll show you my starting set, what I started with. This was the set I started out with. Crystallized Heart. With the strong shirts for low bit damage. And the bottom half Wise for the mana. It worked pretty well. Until floor 3 when I started to get destroyed by everything. But it was too late when I realized that the Mender Helmet could be much more powerful than the Crystallized Heart. So definitely use Mender Helmet if you can get a decent amount of stars on it. But this sort of set is quite good. You could replace this with Wise, or more of this with Strong if you wanted a little bit more damage. This could obviously be a Revived Heart Reaper Mask, which would indeed make you a good healer, fairly good healer. Let me dismantle this set. Alright. So, Holy Drag. Holy Drag is probably the only crystal clear healer set that I know of. As you've probably noticed, there's a lot of drag sets, right? Everyone, pretty much, except for maybe Young, every other class has a drag set that is already built for them. So such as Protector and Old for tank. These are, I'm not saying use these, but they're obviously made for these classes. Wise for Mage, Strong for Berserker, and Unstable for Archer. But Superior obviously can be anything, except for maybe Mage. But Healer doesn't have a drag set, at least not normally it would. So what they did is they added a new one you can only get from dungeons. Still requires combat level 16, as you can see, and requires Catacombs level 27 if you turn it to a dungeon item. Did I turn a piece to a dungeon item? I thought I did. Yeah, so the boots, I turned into legendary dungeon boots. I put Rejuvenate 2 on the full set to increase my natural regen, which I also think is increased because of the healer passive ability. But I turned these to legendary dungeon boots, and I'm going to test it out if you just don't get the bonus from it being a dungeon item. If you don't have the level and it's like the base stats, like this one would give you 238, 163, plus 1, plus 8. It wouldn't be increased by that 50% of turning into a dungeon item. That's what I'm assuming. But I will test that out and get back to you on it. But if you read the set bonus of this ability, Holy Blood increases the natural health regen of you and all players in a 6-block radius by 3 times. That is very important. So if you look, I have 1,610 health, and my regen is 20.4 every 2 seconds. So if that is tripled, and then I'm pretty sure that's also increased by the healer thing, so it's tripled to 61.2. That's quite good, especially if you have a dungeon potion. Let's say it's 3, and you get another 15 health per second. That is 76.2 health per second, which is quite good, especially as you get more and more health from buffs and regen. It'll be even more important. Full adaptive comes in. So the adaptive set is the best set for any class except for maybe tank. Tank might be slightly better off wearing 3/4 adaptive and a Reaper mask. Slightly. But for any other class, this is definitely really good. So I've been slowly maxing this out, and it's been very powerful. I have not died on floor 3 since I got the 3/4 of the set. Since I got the shirt, it's not even been close. So I definitely suggest getting full adaptive if you can. It also looks fairly cool, but as you can see, it gives the stats and stuff and all of that. Full set bonus efficient training. This armor piece gains plus 2% stats. You need the full set bonus to gain this, but every piece will gain plus 2% stats, which is quite good, because not only does it have the dungeon buff from being a dungeon item, but it also increases by even more. So hot potato books are even more important on these. As you can see, I have max hot potato books on these two. Worked on, started this one a bit, haven't done this one yet, but you can also see that on the bottom there, past the blue like header things, it says Berserker, Healer, Mage, Tank, Archer. Each one has a description of the stat bonuses it gives you when you play that class in this set. So for Healer, it's plus 10% health regeneration per piece and plus 40 health, increasing your max health. And I'm 99% sure that plus 40 health is included in the dungeon stat increase, so that is very good. Another thing you may have noticed, these are legendary. I did not recombobulate them. I got them from the Professor collection, which after 50 kills you get the adaptive leggings. This is how I got mine. And here it shows them as being epic, but when I claimed them, they came out legendary. I don't know if it was a glitch or anything, but I am quite happy about it. I considered selling them, but I realized that the stat bonus would be increased so much that it is much more worth it to keep the legendary piece. If you don't want to spend the 4 mil to get the shirt, you can kill it 150 times. I just bought it because 50 kills was enough for me. But so this is extremely good if you can get to 5-star. Every piece here is 5-star except for this. This is 4-star, but I'm currently working on getting it to 5. So in dungeons, you will start with about 3,000 health, especially as healer with the plus 40 health per piece. But this set, along with this sword, pretty much makes you invincible for the first 3 floors. Hopefully for the next ones, this will last at least until floor 5. But then I'm really hoping that we get more healer items, because there's not much as is. It's pretty much just holy drag and adaptive, but adaptive's for every class. That's not even healer specific. And then I guess the Mender Helm, but I'm assuming they only gave that because there was not much else. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'm really hoping that helped clear out some of the healer progression. I'm planning on also doing a mage progression one, because that's not as clear. Probably also tank. Archer is very straightforward, just grunt, soldier, master, skeletor, and then adaptive at the very end. But berserker doesn't really have progression either. It's very similar to healer in that it pretty much just goes from your drag set to adaptive, and there's no real in between, at least that I know of. So stay tuned, subscribe if you want to watch those, and hope this helped.